mash the potatoes, blend them with a couple of things, stick some agar in so that they form a jelly, and then I will cook the chops up and stick them with the pasta, and we should be pretty much done.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So this is just getting up to temperature. Pass me the meat thermometer.
You don't need a meat thermometer for this.
Yeah, sure. I mean, okay, I'm just cooking chops, but I can tell when it's done with the meat thermometer.
Well, can't you just tell when it's done anyway? Because it like changes colour and smells nice.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't give you precision. Like, I know what it looks like on the outside, but on the middle, in the middle, I have no idea whether it's done. I have no idea what the temperature gradient's looking like. I can flip it over, repeat that, and get a lot more finer control with this.
I suppose so.
Well, yeah, basically, I mean, you know, I like to use science here, not guesswork.
Now, what do you think, Paul?
I've actually never used one.
Really?
No, we've got them at work, but I have staff for that.
Good lord, how have you managed to build this program and not use the meat thermometer?
Because you cook stuff and when it's done you stop cooking it.
Yeah.
You've really got to try this, seriously. It just makes it easier.
Okay.
Never let it be said that I don't move with the times. So, I decided to try out Hugh's newfangled devil contraption.
Now, what we've got is pork loin here and digital thermometer with probe, which I am told you put into the middle of the meat like that and then try and get the whole thing into the pan here. Which is, it went beep. I'm not sure it was supposed to go beep just then.
Okay, well, I'll be honest here, no matter what the results of this test are, I still think that cooking thermometers are brilliant and you should get one. The thing is that when you're cooking, you are doing chemistry, and most of the reactions that you are promoting are heat-based. Cooking is a combination of two tasks, combining flavours and textures in a way that is nice rather than terrifying, and making chemical reactions to give you new flavours and textures to play with. Now, if you were hiding in a cave planning to blow up a major government official, you wouldn't make your bomb by heating your weed killer until it looked about right. You'd check your reactions with a thermometer. But for some reason, when we're cooking, we forget that we can measure things and predict what will happen. Tough meat? Split hollandaise? You should have used a thermometer. Plus, proper instruments actually make cooking easier. With one of these things, if you're doing a roast, all you do is you shove it into the middle of the roast, you stick it in the oven, you leave it go. It's got an alarm on it so that you can actually set it to a specific temperature. For example, if I'm doing steak or lamb, I'll do 55 degrees, medium rare. Just set it to 55 degrees, stick it in, go and play World of Warcraft. When it goes beep, 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 it's done.
Right, now for pork, I am advised by science, cooking pork to medium rare is about 65 degrees. It's currently saying it's at 10 degrees and going up, and it's spitting everywhere. So I think what I do now is I sit here and wait until it makes a noise.
Not everybody has a meat thermometer, so what do you do if you don't? The Food Standards Agency say that you should serve food piping hot. They don't, however, actually bother to tell us what this means. Now, we've done extensive research into this, and what it turns out that piping hot means is Australian surfware manufacturer. Or possibly hot enough to cook meat, like, say, fingers. You've got to check if it's hot in the middle as well. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can just prod it and see how it feels, but this is an unreliable method if you're not pretty experienced at cooking meat. A better way might be to cut it open with a knife and touch it in the middle, or maybe just take a look at it and see if it's cooked. Now, some people say that you shouldn't cut your meat because it'll dry it out. Now, frankly, that's bollocks. If you don't want to cut the meat, you might want to try skewering it. Put a skewer into the meat and see what colour the juices run. If they're red or at all reddish, the meat's not cooked yet. If they're green, you should throw the meat away and then nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
A lot of this stuff you can avoid needing a thermometer by really knowing what you're doing, but even the best chefs get it wrong occasionally. And with this thing, you just actually do the chemistry by using an instrument rather than your eyes. So hollandaise, keep it between 70 and 77, it's a lot easier to make. Custard, 79 to 83. If it goes much above 83, then the proteins coagulate into curds and you get that lovely creamy scrambled egg effect. which you don't want if you're cooking creme brulee. With this, you can just stick it in there. As soon as it's starting to go to 84, take the heat off. You don't need to guess. And this is what I really love about this. It takes the guesswork out of cookery. It makes it much more precise, and you can really tell what you're going to get.
The concept is sound, but I wasn't particularly familiar with frying chunks of meat that had big lumps of metal stuck in them.
Right, the probe is actually holding the meat off the surface of the pan, which is not the best thing. Okay, I can kind of get it in if I put the steak right over at one side of the pan. We're now up to 21 degrees and rising. Now, I always used to overcook pork because I thought it was better to have a slightly dry cut of meat than get tapeworm. This was before I learned that the last recorded incidence of tapeworm in a UK pig herd was in 1978, which is before I was born.